Ryan Drell here for All Access MMA, and my next guest picked up a round 2 RNC win this past weekend at UFC 266. And of course, it is JSP, Jonathan Pearce, back on the show. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And you looked great in there. That's 2 in a row now. Tell me how you're feeling now after you racked up another win inside of the octagon.
Feeling pretty good, trying to ride this momentum. And I just got back from training and, no days off.
Wow, you're already back in the gym. You're not taking any time off afterwards to celebrate.
Nope. No, I did. I expected like a hard contender fight, and I trained hard for it. And then I went out there, and the fight was like the easiest part of it. And I only got I love doing this, but I only get to do it for like 7 minutes, 8 minutes, and everyone gets to see my skills for that amount of time. So I want to be out there as much as I can be out there. I want to fight a lot this year and next year as much as I can.
Before we dive into the fight and break it down, I just want to start with, you being the first fight of the night. Run me through what that's like to especially be, opening up a card that's such a huge card with 2, title fights, and it's a pay-per-view event. Do you like that? Do you just to get it out of the way and then just kind of kick back and relax, or do you prefer to be a little bit later on in the card?
I was cool with being the first fight on the card, getting the party started for everybody. I know it's hard to get a bonus if you're first on the card, but hey, if I got there and knock out the next guy, then maybe I'll get it.
Yeah, well, you clearly, if you keep winning, you'll be fighting later and later as the night progresses. Now, you were actually a little bit of an underdog going into this fight. If you're a betting man, do you pay attention to that type of stuff? And when you do see that you're an underdog, does it motivate you?
It does. I like those types of matchups. I like being able to showcase my skills. I feel like you have to give me an underdog matchup, because if you give me a guy that's on my level, you're like, JP's going to smash him. So you got to give me a guy that you think could beat me, or I might be able to go the distance with. And then I do what I did this weekend. So I get a better opponent, hopefully a name, hopefully a big name card, so.
For sure. Yeah. And, the takedowns were on point. Was that the game plan in this one?
Definitely. I've never seen a striker out wrestle a wrestler.
Yeah, very good point. One thing that I found interesting too was DC was saying that, your opponent, Omar Morales, was the bigger man in the cage. Is that true? Did you feel like he was bigger or stronger? I mean, run me through that as far as the size differential goes.
All camp, like everyone was like, he's going to be big. He's going to be big. And I was like, all right, I was going with the bigger guys. And I didn't feel like he was that much bigger. I mean, if he was going to have a hard weight cut. And honestly, like Silva put it best, like the elephant isn't the king of the jungle. So kind of just like played with that and went out there, and he was a big guy, but he just didn't know how to use it in the way I did. And I took him into a place where he wasn't as comfortable. And that's the name of the game in this sport.
Did you feel you were just in control of the fight from the beginning to the end? Was there ever any positions where you felt like maybe, he could turn things around at all?
I'll say there was like a few woos, like when I shot in and then he hit me one time when I shot in the first time, like that, like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. But for other than like moments like that, or like when he hit a reverse, like I felt like I was in control the whole time. But definitely put that pace on him, and I knew that was going to weigh on him being the bigger guy. So.
Yeah, and after the first round, your corner told you to lock up half guard. Tell me, how you implemented that into the second round and ultimately get the submission.
When I get guys against the fence, I just play that high ground, and then you're still on the ground, but I'm standing up over them, leaning over them. And, I can put a side choke on right there from the side, and then just ride their back and get that rear naked choke like I did and jump their back. So you just fill them out. And then when you feel like they're trying to take a break, right when they try to take a break, you just jump on that choke.
When you're in the heat of the moment, you're in there fighting. I mean, there's got to be a lot of processing, like running through your mind. When your corner is telling you information, stuff to do, like how much of that do you actually absorb and go in there and implement in the fight? Is it just kind of depending on, fight to fight, what you actually take in?
So I think Chef Valashenko put it best. These fighters don't come in broke. It's all about your training camp, and you got to believe in that. And when you come out there, like all those things, muscle memory is down, and you're ready to go out there and do what you executed all camp.
Yeah, and you looked fantastic, man. Just run us through the finish real quick. How you got that RNC?
So I jumped his back, kind of like I did Kai Kabaka, and I kind of realized I was getting flipped over like earlier in the fight, and I wasn't in a dominant position, and I was right next to my corner, like my corner is right here on the other side of the cage because I'm up against the wall, and they told me, hey, let that go and start working again. And I let it go, and then I jumped his back again, and I just felt it, and I just put it on, and I felt him needing more time, and he didn't have enough time. He was in a bad spot. And I just put it on, and I knew he was going to tap because even before I got it real tight, he was hesitant to already go.
Yeah, so another big win for you inside of the octagon, my man. How did you guys celebrate afterwards? Did you eat some good food? Did you go out, blow off some steam? Like, tell me what the game plan was afterwards.
I went and hung out with my family and walked around the strip, and now I'm 3-0 in Vegas, so I've been walking the strip pretty often now, and it was pretty cool to just go and try to remake those other memories again and just recall them and do it with my family and my friends that all came down and supported me. It was really cool.
Yeah. And how was it to fight in front of, a pay-per-view audience? I mean, the crowd was just electric. I mean, it was completely packed. That must be pretty nice, especially after, all of the COVID restrictions, not really allowing, fighters like yourself to fight in front of packed stadiums very regularly.
Makes me have hope, that we can turn this all around and that we won't let the government tell us what to do. And as people, we'll be able to come together and do what's right for our country.
Yeah, very, very well said. Did you get a chance to watch any of the rest of the card? I mean, a lot of people were really excited. Obviously, you got those 2 title fights and Nick Diaz coming back. Give me your thoughts on the pay-per-view. I'm sure you saw some of it at least.
So I watched the Lauren Murphy fight, and then I watched the Nick Diaz and the rest of them after that. And I thought they were pretty good night of fights. I felt like I really enjoyed watching the 45 fight. I feel like I match up well against those guys, and hopefully one day I'll be in that position fighting for, a belt.
What do you think it's going to take to beat someone like the current champion Volkanovski? I mean, he looks just like an absolute bulldog in there. I mean, Ortega had him, looked like he was caught numerous times for a submission, and he just gutted it out. I mean, what kind of a fighter do you think you need to be able to dethrone the current champ?
I think the fighter I was this past weekend. I think I'm right on the right track. It's not about me competing against those guys. That's my coach's job, is the game plan for me, for them, and just work as hard as you can and go out there and stick to your guns, and it all happen. If it doesn't, you just need a little bit more time and keep going at it.
So let's talk about this featherweight division right now. 2 wins in a row. You say you want to stay active. So when can we expect to see you back in there next? And is there somebody that, maybe you have your eyes on that you'd like to lock horns with next?
I'm taking all 145 fights right now. Whoever can make it happen the quickest is who's going to get it. That's bottom line right now, because I need to get back in there. And I feel like, I would fight any of these guys. I don't think any of them really got anything on me that I haven't seen before or I haven't faced. I've been competing since I was like 12 years old. I've been wrestling. So I'm excited to really chase this thing down, go on a run, and see what happens.
So do you believe right now, like, you're as good as the guys in the top 15, top 10, 5? Like, where do you feel like you fit in, like, right this moment?
Right this moment, I feel like I'm right at the bottom of the top 5.
Okay, man. So you're looking for one of the top dogs in the division, and you're saying you want to stay active. So you feel good enough right now where if a short notice fight presented itself, you're going to jump right in.
If this weekend my opponent got hurt and they told me to fight Volkanovski, I would have fought Volkanovski.
Okay, man. So that's really exciting. So we can see you back in there again here very soon. What's your weight right now? Do you usually get a lot heavier after fight night?
So I only got back up to like 161. I'm having that's a newer thing for me because you saw me drop down from 55 to 45. I never have really mastered the weight cutting thing. So I'm trying to figure that out still. So I'm really light still, like I'm 164, you know, so like I could fight next weekend and I would have cut less weight than I did for this fight. So
Is there any foods that you like just can't look at like that make it maybe difficult for you to stay lean?
dude, I'm eating like I'm eating good. Like I eat steak for breakfast every morning and sweet potatoes and rice. And like that's not a really bad diet meal. Like that's pretty good eating if you ask me. So I got a good process down where it's enough balance for me to be able to work as harder than everybody else and still enjoy it. You know, still like have that my energy to be able to go the extra mile and do the extra thing that I know my competition won't do.
So how many times a day are you training right now? Like in a regular camp, are you in the gym 3 times a day getting that work in?
So we'll get in the morning at 10 and then we'll go pretty hard. Like that's kind of like a breaking practice is what I call it because you wrestle and you know, when you're locked in with somebody for an hour and a half, like one person's going to end up winning and the other person's going to end up losing. And then it's a fight to see if you can pull yourself out of that and fight back, you know? So most of the time I'm breaking most of the dudes in the morning and then I'll leave and get done with that. And I'll come back around 3 and we'll do striking from 3 to 4. And then we'll lift from 4 to 5. And then I'll do my own thing, like run and, also, when I get closer to my fight, my lifting coach switches those lifts back to cardio. So like I'm covering all bases right now. Just choked that dude out this weekend, so we know my jiu-jitsu is good.
Yeah,
Just
well,
covering all the bases. You know, like I'm ready. Like they couldn't throw them fast enough at me. You know.
very good, man. Well, I can't wait to see you back inside of the octagon. Last question for me. If you do get a fight again here very, very soon and you go in there, you win, you don't take any damage, or can we see you back maybe twice before the end of this year? Or do you feel like
yeah, if they would fight me more than that, then I'll do it. It's just if I'm healthy after the next one, you know what I mean? That's what it's going to boil down to. Like if I have another showing like this last weekend or like Kai Kamaka fight, then I could probably get back in and fight in like a month. Just, you know, a little bit of time to reset and put a little weight back on and get your mind ready to cut all that weight again. You need a little bit of time.
man, you could be like the featherweight division's Donald Cerrone, man, you know, just fighting nonstop. So that's exciting. And you know, Uncle Dana would love that. He likes guys just like yourself that want to stay active. Well, listen, congrats, Jonathan, on another big win. That makes it 2 in a row. Can't wait to see what is next for you, man. Before I let you go, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media. And if you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Don't forget, I ain't no Donald Sereno. I'm JSP. And you can find me on JSP MMA on Twitter and Instagram.